Hello everyone.
Sasquatch of the Bush here, and welcome back to another episode of Gamer's Gospel, where I bring you the gospel with gameplay in the background. So today's episode is going to be about God's timing. You probably all felt that, where we just feel stuck, we can't see a way forward, we don't know what we're doing in this season in our life. But we gotta remember that God is with us, and He's using even the bad for good. So our main text is going to be in Genesis today. We're going to be looking at the story of Joseph. You have a Bible with you or a Bible app. I strongly encourage you to read along, but you don't have to because I'm going to read it for you and have it up on screen. I am going to be reading the King James Version, so if that's confusing to you, that's okay. You can either drop a comment if you don't understand something, or just you can read the same verses in a version that you understand better. So we're going to start in Genesis 37, towards the end of verse 17. So it says, Joseph went out after his brethren and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar, even before he came near to them, they conspired against him to slay him. They said one to another, Behold, this dreamer cometh. Come now therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit, and we will say, Some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. And they took him, and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty, there was no water in it. They sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes, and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead, with their camels bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, What profit is it if we slay our brother, and conceal his blood? Come, and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content. Then there passed by Midianites merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt. Sometimes we feel like we're in that pit. We're stuck. And then we just get moved into a situation that seems like it's a lot worse. But we're going to see how God can use those situations to put us in a place where we can do a lot of good and where He can actually bless our lives. Let's jump ahead to Genesis 39, verses 1 through 6. It says, And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him out of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house, and all that he had he put into his hand. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house, and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person, and well favored. So we see here from this text, God used that bad situation to put Joseph in a place where he can show God's glory to godless people. God used that bad situation to cause Joseph to bless someone else's life in a way that shows God's hand. Maybe this is what God's doing in our lives right now. Maybe all we see is just that pit. But maybe we just need to wait until we get put in that place. I mean, we all kind of know the story of the story of Joseph goes. You can read on. I encourage you to read on and read the full story, but for the sake of time in this video, I'm going to go ahead and just summarize it for you. Summarize how the pattern repeats, actually. So we all know, Joseph gets to be the head honcho in Potiphar's house, pretty much, kind of Potiphar's second in command, and then Potiphar's wife thinks that she likes Joseph a little too much, tries to get freaky with him. Joseph isn't having any of it. Potiphar's wife then frames Joseph for trying to force himself on her. Joseph gets thrown in prison. So it looks like he went straight from his blessings to back in a hole. And sometimes this can happen. We get in a really good place in life and then we just get thrown in a hole. But what happens in that hole? Well, Joseph meets the his baker and his wine bearer, and they have dreams. Joseph interprets it. That isn't relative to the point I'm making right now, but if you want to read on. The wine bearer gets out. Pharaoh has his dream that no one can interpret. The wine bearer says, "Hey, I remember a guy who could interpret dreams." So then Joseph gets called back out of prison, interprets Pharaoh's dream, and gives Pharaoh such wise counsel that Pharaoh decides to make him second in command over all the land of Egypt. So let's kind of summarize the story here so far. Joseph gets thrown in a hole, gets sold into slavery, but because he works diligently and in a way that glorifies God, he's given much. He's blessed, and he blesses everything that he touches, pretty much. Then he gets thrown in another hole. But that's not the end of the story, because he gets elevated to an even higher place. Now, why is this? Well, it's because real growth can't come from a comfort zone. The act of growing, receiving blessing, getting stronger, getting in a better place, it's painful. You go to the gym and you're building up muscle, you have to make micro tears in your muscles for it to grow back stronger. That's how you actually build muscle. That's how you build strength. Growth does not come from a comfort zone. Anybody who's spent a significant amount of time trying to grow, whether it be in mind or body or life, knows that it's a struggle. But anything worth doing is not easy. But the point I'm making is, you just have to keep going on, even when all you can see is that dark hole. You just have to keep glorifying God, trusting Him, because He's got a plan. Heck, you may just be in the hole, or you might be in that dungeon, just moving along. You might be making a difference right there. Just like Joseph made a difference for those two servants of Pharaoh when they were in the prison. You might be making a difference right where you are, even though you think you're in the hole. So all I'm saying is, don't give up. God's got a plan. Trust Him for it. We have a supplementary verse. It will be in the book of Ecclesiastes. But we're going to be in chapter 3. Pretty much just want to read verse 1, but I encourage you to read on the rest of the chapters. It says, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven." God has a plan for everything that happens in your life, even the bad things. And I know, they suck. I've been stuck in that hole myself for the last few months, it feels like. But I know that whatever God's got planned for me, it's good. And I know whatever He's got planned for you, it's good. I guess what I'm saying is, when we're going through life, we can only see this dark little patch along the path. But we need to trust God, because He can see the whole path, the whole journey, and He made the map. So, what I'm saying is, trust God's timing. If you feel stuck, know that it's just God preparing you or preparing the way for something bigger. Hang in there. God's got you. That's all I've got for you all today. I encourage you to reread and study the scriptures we went over, and even read a little more around each verse, like read the whole story of Joseph. You can read more of Ecclesiastes if you're looking into purpose and trusting God with your life. Ecclesiastes is a really slept on book, not gonna lie. But that's enough yapping for me. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope that God might bless you with my words today. I will catch you all next time. Till then, good health, good luck, and may God bless. Bye bye now.